say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Eternal Father God, again, we give you praise and give you honor. We thank you for this day. We thank you for life. We thank you for health. And we thank you for strength. We thank you for allowing us to gather together to celebrate the accomplishments of our first responders. Father, truly, this is a glorious day. Now, Father, as we move forward into this program, we honor those who have given the ultimate sacrifice, whether by the line of duty or whether through the COVID-19. We want to honor them on today. May we have a moment of silence. And so, Father, as we continue to remember them, we also want to remember their families, to continue to bless them and to keep them. Now, Father, as we move forward into this celebration, we ask you to bless all those that will participate and all those that will make a mark in a man's life that will never, ever be erased. God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. This is our prayer.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. My name is Evrod Kasimi. I'm the morning anchor at WDIV Local 4 News, and it is my pleasure to serve as your host for the 8th annual 2020 Above and Beyond Virtual Awards ceremony. The Detroit Public Safety Foundation hosts this incredible signature event every single year to thank the sponsors for their partnerships and really to honor Detroit's first responders who serve and protect people here in our great city of Detroit. And now for a few housekeeping items for you. A huge welcome to everyone that's joining us from the Detroit Public Safety Foundation's Facebook page, website, and YouTube page as well. However, we should point out that the website broadcast is the only space where comments will be allowed. And for security reasons, all the comments are going to be approved before they are officially posted. The Detroit Public Safety Foundation will be standing by to answer any questions that you might have throughout the evening, so keep your eye out on that chat window there for information and directions as well. So sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy this special presentation.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for the 2020 Above and Beyond Awards ceremony. I'm Reggie Turner, Board Chairman for the Detroit Public Safety Foundation, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here tonight. This is the 8th annual Above and Beyond Awards ceremony, and although we're not all in the room together, we are so grateful that we can continue with this important and moving ceremony to honor Detroit's first responders. This year, more than any other, we feel it's important to continue with this tradition and to share the heroic stories of those serving on the front lines. To Detroit's first responders, thank you for your service. You represent us well. It is our privilege to honor you in this way. We don't take your sacrifices for granted. We want to honor you and your families tonight. I'd also be remiss if I didn't thank our distinguished board members who volunteer their time, talents, and funds to support our mission and Detroit's first responders. I'd also like to thank our donors. Without your generosity and support, we would not be able to meet the growing needs of the police and fire departments. PVS Chemicals is our presenting sponsor, donating $50,000 for the third year in a row. James B. Nicholson, co-chairman of PVS Chemicals, was the first chairman of the Detroit Public Safety Foundation Board of Trustees, and he remains chairman emeritus. If it was not for Jim and PVS Chemicals, the Detroit Public Safety Foundation would not be what it is today. Additionally, I'd like to thank the Suburban Collection, Comerica Bank, Rock Security, 411 Therapy, the FCA Group, Motorola Solutions, Strobes R Us, a Shift Group brand, and Suave Enterprises for being our commanding and chief sponsors this year. And to each and every one of you who supported us in various ways tonight and throughout the year, thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce Detroit Public Safety Foundation Executive Director, Patty Kakula.
Thank you, Reggie. We want our first responders to know that the Detroit Public Safety Foundation is here to support them today and every day. The foundation invests in making Detroit a safer community. The challenges you face are difficult and dangerous. This has never been more true than serving in 2020 on the front lines of a global pandemic. As you were putting your health at risk to continue serving the citizens of Detroit, we were working tirelessly behind the scenes to secure funding and supplies to help keep you safe. I'm proud to say the Detroit Public Safety Foundation raised more than $260,000 in monetary donations for COVID supplies and secured more than $572,000 in in-kind donations. We worked personally with each donor, coordinating deliveries and making sure supplies were available for those in need. We purchased and received masks, thermometers, gowns, sanitizers, and food, and so many more additional items. The community and our partners showed up in a big way to support you during that time. I also want to take a minute to address the protests following the murder of George Floyd. We too were outraged by his death. However, we remain proud of the way our police department is representing Detroit. Under Chief Craig's leadership, the citizens of Detroit have been able to demonstrate through peaceful protests with minimal incidents. The foundation has invested in community outreach programs which help the police department build positive relationships with the citizens of Detroit. We now know firsthand that the return on those investments is great. Thanks to our community and police department working together, we can be proud of the way we have weathered this storm together. And we will continue to strive to strengthen these relationships in the future. To Police Chief James Craig and Detroit Fire Commissioner Eric Jones, we are so honored to serve alongside you and your dedicated staff. The foundation remains committed to continuing our mission to serve the men and women who keep us safe. And now, to our first award, our Public Safety Partner Award presented to Comerica Bank. Comerica Bank has always been a great partner of the Detroit Public Safety Foundation and Detroit's first responders. Mike Ritchie, our board member and Michigan Market President and son of a Detroit police officer, has served on our board for many, many years. Comerica was our host in January for the first annual Back the Blue campaign press conference and pledged $25,000 at that event. In addition to that donation, Comerica stepped up with additional support to help with feeding the front lines during the COVID pandemic. And this year, they also supported the Brotherhood and Sisterhood mentoring programs, which helped the Detroit Police Department create positive relationships with the youth in the city of Detroit. Please join me in recognizing Comerica Bank for their commitment to supporting public safety in Detroit.
Thank you, Patty. Good evening to everyone who is connected as we pay tribute to the courageous men and women dedicated to protecting, serving, and improving our neighborhoods. Our relationship with the Detroit Public Safety Foundation and support for Detroit Police, Fire, and EMS means so much to us. Whether it's the Back the Blue campaign, Feed the Front Lines, Sisterhood and Brotherhood initiatives, or general support for Detroit's first responders, we appreciate the opportunity to engage in and stand behind your efforts to keep us safe. You know, when we gathered back in January to recognize National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, it was a chance for corporate and community partners to collaborate and kick off the new year by thanking those who protect and serve. Our Comerica colleagues enthusiastically backed this campaign, and many colleagues visited Detroit's police precincts to show support in person. In fact, the excitement over Back the Blue extended around the state as colleagues outside of Detroit stepped up to support local law enforcement in numerous Michigan communities. Since then, we have faced unanticipated and difficult times and have all been saddened by so many tragic events and the discord we are facing. We know the challenges for those on the front lines are now greater than ever. Chief James, Commissioner Jones, you and the brave public safety officers and first responders you lead truly serve a higher purpose. That is the point of tonight. It is not a night to focus on where we fall short. Rather, it is a night to honor the so many of you who continue to serve with great honor and personal sacrifice, even in the most difficult of times. Detroit's first responders exemplify that every day by devoting your lives to serve others. While facing a global pandemic on the job and at home, we are inspired by your commitment to galvanize Detroit and to build a stronger community. We, like you, long for a thriving, safe, and peaceful environment for every person. We can't thank you enough for doing the heroic work that is so often forgotten and so often taken for granted. Tonight, we don't forget. Tonight, we remember you and we honor our heroes. We are humbled by this recognition by the Detroit Public Safety Foundation, and we look forward to our continued partnership.
I would also like to thank our partners at Comerica Bank for their dedication to our mission and cause. And now to our next award. We're doing something special this year for the City Changemaker Award. From now on, the award will be the James B. Nicholson City Changemaker Award. As I mentioned before, Jim Nicholson helped create the Detroit Public Safety Foundation, and he's been a champion of our first responders in the city of Detroit. I can think of no better name or person to be permanently recognized with the naming of this award that salutes individuals who are making a positive difference in Detroit. And now, to introduce this year's recipient of the James B. Nicholson City Changemaker Award, here is our mayor, Mike Duggan.
Well, good evening. The Above and Beyond Awards program is an event I look forward to attending each year to recognize our police, firefighter, EMS responders, and those who support them. These awards take on a deeper meaning this year as you host this year's event virtually to keep all of us safe during COVID-19. I've never been more proud of our first responders, including our DDOT drivers, who have been on the front line since the start of this pandemic. This community has always loved and supported you for the risks you take every day to protect us all. And that appreciation has only deepened as we all saw how you continue to show up for work every day, even before anyone had an understanding of COVID. So on behalf of every Detroiter, thank you. I'm honored also to recognize two other individuals who have done so much to support our police officers, firefighters, and medics, Jim Nicholson and Dan Gilbert. Starting this year, the annual Changemaker Award is now called the James B. Nicholson Changemaker Award, in recognition of Jim establishing the Detroit Public Safety Foundation and all the work it has done to support first responders. And this year's award is going to my friend Dan Gilbert, who has given so much support to the foundation and our city. The ongoing support provided by Quicken Loans has made possible high-rise building training for our firefighters and countless efforts to support our police officers and their safety. I can't think of a better person to be the recipient of the first James B. Nicholson Changemaker Award than Dan. So to all of you, enjoy this event, stay safe, and thank you for everything you do to make our city safer and to support those working on the front lines every day, making it happen.
Thank you, Mayor Duggan. Good evening. My name is Chuck Wilson. I'm the Chief Security Officer for the Rock family of companies. It is a tremendous privilege to accept the James B. Nicholson City Changemaker Award on behalf of Mr. Dan Gilbert, the Chairman of Rock family of companies. Dan asked me to express how honored he is to be presented with this award and also his sincere regret that he is unable to participate tonight. Dan also wanted me to express his appreciation and send congratulations to tonight's awardees. The first responders being recognized at this ceremony are an incredible group of people. In thinking about the Above and Beyond Awards, what comes to mind are the isms that Dan created 35 years ago. Our North Star principles that guide us in everything we do each and every day at the Rock family of companies. There are many, but the one that most comes to mind, it is not about the who, it is about the what. And in this case, it is definitely about the what. Dan is honored, along with the more than 30,000 team members of our family of companies, to be included in such a distinguished company. First responders, who are all committed to one common purpose in the city of Detroit. Focusing on the what, the deeds of others. Those who put the needs of others, be it an individual or a city, ahead of their own. In these unique times, when the world is facing a global pandemic, all we can say is thank you. Thank you for your selflessness, humility, courage, passion, and most of all, your service. Thank you to the Detroit Public Safety Foundation and its dedication to supporting these first responders and enhancing the overall welfare of Detroit. And thank you to all the first responders. We are so grateful for what you do each and every day. Thank you again on behalf of Dan for honor of being named the James B. Nicholson City Changemaker for 2020. Thank you and have a great night.
And congratulations again to the Detroit Safety Partner Award recipient, Dan Gilbert, and the James B. Nicholson Changemaker Award recipient, Mike Ritchie with Comerica Bank. Now it's time to honor the Detroit Fire Department awardees. And to start things off, please join me in welcoming the Commissioner for the Detroit Fire Department, Eric Jones.
To the dear friends of public safety and to all of you watching on social media, we appreciate all of your many forms of support. We've had a difficult time since we last gathered to celebrate our incredible first responders. We lost colleagues and family members, and many of us are still grief-stricken. The loss of Captain Franklin Williams and Sergeant Savad Johnson left us all asking why. With 31 years of service, Captain Williams was positioned to retire, and Sergeant Savad Johnson was out spending time with his daughter when he made a fateful decision. Captain Williams refused to leave the men and women of Engine 44 and Ladder 18 during this pandemic. And Sergeant Johnson refused to let those children perish. Each of them made the ultimate sacrifice. They put others before themselves. Although our men and women don't die every day, they make the same sacrifices without hesitation. Yes, daily, the Detroit Fire Department's men and women positively affect the life of someone they encounter. Tonight, you will hear some of those stories of heroism and selflessness, gut-wrenching stories of our men and women jeopardizing their well-being to save the lives and property of strangers. Some say it's their job to save lives and property. And while that is part of it, it is wrong to say that this is a job. What they do is an adventure, a calling, not something to be taken lightly. Consider the ups and downs, the wins and the losses, the lives affected, saving some and losing others, bearing the weight of life and death decisions, waking up every morning, leaving, knowing you might not make it home. Yes, my friends, public safety is an adventure and a calling. In closing, let's remember Skylar Herbert. We lost her during the height of the pandemic, and it was so surprising because she was a child. And at the time, we believed that children were the least affected. Skylar's loss deeply affected the fire department and the police department. As young as she was, Skylar's purpose was giving her all to strangers, helping those less fortunate than herself. According to her parents, Ebby and Lavondria, that's what she lived for. Skylar is the epitome of what Captain Franklin Williams and Sergeant Savad Johnson represented in their lives, and the example of what the Detroit Fire Department strives to achieve through our service and sacrifice. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm David Fisher with the Suburban Collection. The Suburban Collection is a proud supporter of this event, and we want to thank the first responders who are dedicated to the safety of Detroit. It is my privilege to introduce firefighter Mark Taylor, a Purple Heart recipient. Firefighter Taylor's remarkable recovery and commitment to serving the citizens of Detroit is truly inspiring. Firefighter Taylor, from all of us at the Suburban Collection, a big thank you for your service.
Mark Taylor joined the Detroit Fire Department in August 2004.
The thing I enjoy most about being on the fire department is the people I work with. We have amazing days at the firehouse.
In addition to serving his community by fighting fires, he quickly learned that laughter was another way to serve and joined the Detroit Fire Department Clown Team. The Clown Team started in 1938 and is the oldest continually run and operated clown team in America.
We try to attend with at least a handful of clowns to all types of events. Basically just dressing up like clowns and trying to make people happy.
Firefighter Mark Taylor's entire world changed on October 3rd, 2019, when he responded to a house on fire with people trapped inside.
So when the building collapsed on me, the hope is that they're gonna realize that I'm missing after the evacuation, but I'm not sure how much time that's gonna take. All I know is I can't move and I'm burning.
For 13 minutes, Taylor lay burning.
I don't know who else is trapped. I don't know how long this is going to take. And it was a really nice feeling when they finally lifted the pile of debris off the top of me.
Taylor survived the fire, but was severely burned.
I spent 22 days in the intensive care unit in the burn ward at Detroit Receiving Hospital.
60% of his body was burned.
So the recovery process was long and miserable, very uncomfortable, very painful. But I knew things were going to get better, and I knew I was going to be able to get back on my feet. It was just a matter of time.
On October 5th, he returned on light duty and plans to one day return to full firefighting operations. And he is once again serving as a member of the esteemed Detroit Fire Department.
The men and women of the Detroit Fire Department, they're the best people on the planet. They're the hardest workers. I don't know if I can say this on camera, but they're the baddest motherfuckers alive.
Good evening, my name is Mike Muscovin and I'm representing Motorola Solutions. Motorola Solutions is a proud supporter of our first responders and a longtime partner with the Detroit Public Safety Foundation and this event. It is now my honor to introduce Paramedic Jason Cornell, a Medal of Valor recipient. Paramedic Cornell, thank you for your service and dedication to the citizens you serve.
Paramedic Jason Cornell grew up in Detroit, but was first introduced to paramedicine in the Army.
It came really naturally to me. It came really easy. I discovered I worked really cool under pressure.
After serving in the Army and working in Texas, he returned home and joined the Detroit EMS Division in April 2014.
There was no other place that I wanted to work but the city of Detroit. Anywhere else, it would take you 10 years to see the amount of calls that we see.
One such call came on August 4th, when Paramedic Cornell was working with his partner, Paramedic Ryan Cook. The two responded to a car in the Detroit River at Belle Isle with the driver trapped inside.
Without even just hesitating, I jumped in the water and immediately went to assist the DNR officer who was already in the water to try and get the man out of the car.
The driver was resisting their rescue attempts and had broken the car windows.
The doors were locked and the water was already far enough underwater where we couldn't find the unlock buttons on the door. And then when the current started taking the car away, I grabbed onto the door handle to try and keep it from going, and I reached over and I grabbed onto the DNR officer, and then he reached up and grabbed onto somebody on shore. I was probably about neck deep in water, just below my neck deep in water, before somebody else on shore finally got a tow rope.
Eventually, they were able to get the driver out through the passenger window and get him to safety on the shore.
There are people walking around today alive only because I was there. And it's kind of a good feeling that when that happens, like if it weren't for me at that exact time, right then and there, me being there and doing what I did and doing my job, they wouldn't be here at this moment.
My name is Tom Applebacher, and I am the president and COO of New Center Stamping, which is part of the Suave Enterprise Group. We started out as Fisher Body Plant 37 in 1919 and today remain an automotive stamper for the Big Three here in the great city of Detroit. New Center Stamping is proud to support the 2020 Above and Beyond Awards ceremony and to recognize and honor the service and sacrifice of our dedicated first responders. It is now my distinct honor to introduce firefighter Kenneth Williams II, Medal of Valor recipient. Firefighter Williams' story shows us the dedication of Detroit firefighters when it comes to rescuing trapped civilians and especially children. Firefighter Williams, we salute you.
Firefighter Kenneth Williams grew up watching the Detroit Fire Department.
My grandparents lived on the street at the station I actually started at, Engine 41. And just as a kid, seeing the engine fly down the street every day is like, man, that's cool. So got to live out my dream. I just like to have fun, like cooking, probably the best cook in the city. But don't tell anybody else that.
While it's all fun and games while he serves as a cook for Engine 56, when it's time to suit up, it's all business. One such call came on April 6, 2020, when he was dispatched to a home fire with children trapped inside.
It was chaos. There was people screaming and there was people on the porch holding kids and stuff like that. So we knew it was a serious scene, serious emergency.
They were told 2 to 3 kids were still inside, and firefighter Williams, along with other firefighters, began searching.
We got to a bedroom and just started searching, and I felt the leg, scooped the kids up. He took the kids and got out. I continued to look because they said there was up to 3 kids, so looking in the closet under the bed and things like that.
The girls he found were twins hiding together. They survived the fire thanks to the heroic efforts of Williams and those on the scene.
Knowing that these young lives were saved, opposed to many others that have been lost over time, it gives you a sense of what we're doing is not in vain.
Whether rescuing kids, running into a burning building, or cooking for his friends at the firehouse, Williams considers it an honor to serve as a Detroit firefighter.
To have the camaraderie and brotherhood and guys I can call on, whether black, white, Hispanic, it's just a good feeling. It's a great feeling. I love the job.
Good evening. I'm Daryl Adams with the Shift Group. We are proud to support Detroit police and fire departments and salute all of Detroit's first responders. It is now my honor to introduce Purple Heart Award recipient, Captain Harry Wilson. Captain Wilson, thank you for sharing your story and your dedication to serving the citizens of Detroit.
I'm fourth generation, so it all started my great-grandfather, my grandfather, my dad, then myself. All my brothers are on. I have one that's retired. I have two nephews on now. So it's kind of a lifelong legacy, really, for the Wilsons.
Detroit firefighters know their safety is often dependent on their fellow firefighters. That's exactly what happened to Captain Wilson at a large vacant school fire on October 10th, 2019.
I knew I was running low on air. There were some guys coming out of the auditorium now into the hallway. I kept steering them to where the stairs were. I was just too far from the stairs and my bell was going off, and I just couldn't, I knew I wasn't going to get to the stairway.
He was able to take his mask off long enough to yell for help.
These guys you work with are the best in the world at what they do. And I knew one of them would hear me and it would work out. And thank God, Brandon Carter and Danny Cretu, my guardian angels, because I was completely out of air when they got me. They got me outside, down to 3 flights outside, and the medics were spot on waiting there with oxygen.
He remembers the ride to the hospital and talking to the doctors, but then nothing after that.
All my blood gas levels were critical. So it just, if you're going to crash, that's the right place to crash, right at receiving. I spent a couple days in the ICU, intubated for a day and a half, and everything worked out.
Exactly 3 months after the fire, he is back at work and plans to finish out his service, staying the full 35 years and retiring in 2024.
I liken it to being up at bat with bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth and you strike out. You can't go out that way. I said, I got to go back to work. And I love being with the guys. I love this job. And it just didn't feel right to go out like that.
Hello again, I'm Mike Muscovin with Motorola Solutions. Now it is my great honor to introduce you to firefighter Jamal Johnson. Firefighter Johnson is accepting the Purple Heart posthumously for his brother, Sergeant Savad Johnson, who died heroically rescuing 2 girls from the Detroit River. Firefighter Johnson and Sergeant Savad Johnson, we salute your service and honor your sacrifice.
Savad Johnson excelled at everything he did, especially in his 26-year career with the Detroit Fire Department.
He made it to sergeant, and he was in charge of his crew, and I think everybody, who had come in contact with him looked at him as a role model of what kind of firefighter to be.
He grew up in Detroit and was inspired by another model firefighter, his father. His younger brother Jamal also serves with the department.
What he did, and when he left us, I'm not mad about it. I know he would do it again. It was in honor of other people, and that's who he was. He would help anyone. And to be honest, I can't, the selfish side of me wants him here, but I know that he would do the same thing again.
On August 22nd, while visiting Belle Isle with one of his 2 daughters, Sergeant Johnson saw kids in distress in the water. He immediately jumped in to help save them. With his help, the children were all rescued and survived.
It wasn't something tragic or violent. He went the way that I'm sure many of us wish we could go. So with that being said, I think he really just did and lived his life in such a way that it was an example for all of us. I can't think of any better way to go. Like I said, the selfish side of me wants him here.
His life and his death now serve as an example for those left to carry on his legacy.
Just an amazing, extraordinary person. I don't think you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who could say anything bad about him. That's just who he was, and he excelled at everything he touched.
And a big congratulations to the Detroit Fire Department Award recipients. We certainly thank you for your service. Now, because of timing, some of the awardees are not included in our program this evening. However, all of the awardees will receive their medals and be listed in our digital program book, which will then be emailed out to all the awardees, sponsors, and partners. And to all of the Detroit first responders who are watching right now, we have a few people who would like to say thank you.
Hey, this is Alonzo Bowden with a shout out to Detroit's firemen, police, paramedics, and EMTs. I can't be there for the Above and Beyond Awards, but I want to say thank you for the work you do. And I hope you stay safe while you're keeping everybody safe. Really, you're always above and beyond, whether we do the awards show or not. So thank you, keep up the good work, and hopefully we'll see you next year.
Hi everybody, Mitch Albom here. I just want to salute and thank from the bottom of my heart our first responders here in Detroit, Detroit Fire Department, Detroit Police Department, our medical teams, everyone who was on the front lines with COVID-19. You have proven what bravery, courage, and humanity is about, and I, for one, could not be more grateful. Thank you for the great work you do.
This is Willie Horton with the Detroit Tigers. I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to the men and women who serve with the police department and the fire. This year has been a challenged year for all of us. You have remained on the front line, risking your health for our safety. We appreciate all the ways you support Detroit and would like to say thank you. And those who are receiving awards at Above and Beyond, congratulations and thank you for your service and dedication.
Hi, this is Troy Weaver, new General Manager of Detroit Pistons. I want to recognize Detroit's first responders for all that you do to keep our city safe and moving forward. From all of us at the Detroit Pistons, thank you.
Hi, I'm Matthew Stafford with the Detroit Lions. I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to the brave men and women who serve the Detroit Police and Fire Departments. I know 2020 hasn't been an easy year, but thank you for your dedication to serving the citizens of Detroit. We don't take your sacrifices for granted and just wanted to say thank you. And congratulations to those receiving awards and recognition tonight. You represent us well.
And I think our special guests really say it all for us. We can't thank you enough for the job that you do and the sacrifices that you make to keep all of us safe. All right, so for those of you who are just joining us this evening, don't forget to post your questions or your comments in the chat window. And for security reasons, we do want to remind you that all the comments are going to be approved prior to posting. So keep your eyes on the information and directions. There is an opportunity available to partner with the Detroit Public Safety Foundation and their mission to support the men and women of the Detroit Fire and Detroit Police Departments, as well as the entire Detroit community. At the bottom of the website, there is a donate button for you, and there are many ways to do just that. So please check it out before the end of the program. The information is also there for you in the chat window. And now it's time to honor the Detroit Police Department awardees. So please join me in welcoming Detroit Police Chief James Craig.
Good evening. I want to welcome everyone as we honor some of the bravest and best in our chosen profession. Tonight, we recognize the profound heroic efforts of our Detroit Police Department first responders. Every single day, they do their job go into potentially dangerous situations without hesitation. Our officers represent the best of our community. I would first like to thank the Detroit Public Safety Foundation for their continued support and for providing us with an opportunity to acknowledge those who have gone above and beyond the call of duty. I would also like to acknowledge our partners, Fire Commissioner Eric Jones and the members of the Detroit Police Department. Throughout the years, we have stood together and strived to make the city safer for all. And to the men and women of the Detroit Police Department being honored this evening, the impact you have made on this community and the department has been tremendous. You represent the highest standards of our chosen profession, and for that, I, like so many others, to simply say thank you. Each and every day, our officers are confronted with situations unimaginable. Yet despite these challenges, they come to work daily, ready and willing to serve the people of this great city, even if it means making the ultimate sacrifice. When confronted with adversity, it is these individuals, these heroes, who stand with unwavering bravery and commitment to answer the call. Instead of running away from danger, they always run towards danger. That was the dedication shown by the heroes being honored tonight. Among those is Sergeant Rasheen McClain. Sergeant McClain gave his life while demonstrating great leadership and courage, responding to a dangerous situation to protect not only the people he served, but the men and women he worked with. And then there's Corporal Alvin Cherry, who displayed an extraordinary act of heroism when he risked his own life protecting his fellow officers while being shot at from close range. And yes, let us not forget those officers who never cease to amaze me when they're able to quickly transition from a warrior mode into a life-saving mode. We've seen this repeated by members of this great police department, the Detroit Police Department, including the officers of the 7th Precinct who are being celebrated tonight after applying a tourniquet to a suspect who moments before had fired upon them. These are only a few of the many stories that go unnoticed. Every day, the men and women in blue who serve Detroit face unforeseen dangers. And while their stories are not often shared, their dedication speaks volumes and will always be remembered. A wise person once said, "Heroes are not giant statues framed against a red sky. There are people who say, this is my community, and it's my responsibility to make it better." To the families and friends of first responders, thank you for your support and the many sacrifices you have made. Thank you once again to everyone who has come to honor these men and women in their courageous acts. But more importantly, thank you to the Detroit Police Department's elite for going above and beyond the call of duty to save lives and demand justice, even in these controversial times. May God bless you, and may God bless the city of Detroit.
Good evening again, Mike Ritchie with Comerica Bank. On behalf of our colleagues, we proudly support the Detroit Public Safety Foundation and Detroit's first responders. Now it is my privilege to introduce Corporal Jose Martinez, a Medal of Valor recipient. Corporal Martinez and 3 of his partners from the 12th Precinct are receiving the Medal of Valor for their heroic actions. From all of us at Comerica Bank, we thank you for your service.
Corporal Jose Martinez has been a Detroit police officer for 20 years and spent much of his career mentoring younger officers.
A lot of the guys that I work with on the midnight shift, I trained. So I just want them to be aware and, basically just to keep their heads up.
One of the main things he's learned is to stay calm in a chaotic scene.
But if you can get them to talk down and see you as that person that's like, listen, we're going to work this out. We just need to know what's going on.
Corporal Martinez and his partner tried to use those skills when responding to a call in April to investigate a person acting erratically.
It was a young lady banging on the door of the gentleman that was calling the police, and he did not know who she was.
They eventually talked her off the porch, but as they approached her, she took off running.
So as she's running, she was running away from us, and then at the last second, she turned towards the service drive, the lodge, and both Officer Brandt and myself were yelling at her to stop running, and she ran and she jumped right over the rail. I really don't know how she managed to grab the rail and stop herself from completely falling down, and Officer Brandt and myself ran over there and we grabbed her arms, made sure she didn't fall, and Officer Gardner and Officer Goff joined us, and we managed to pull her over, get her to the hospital. When she made that turn, that slight turn towards the bridge, it freaked me out. I've never seen that before, and watching her just jump over was pretty scary. It was, and then us running over there, and luckily we were able to grab her before she let go, before she fell. But it was one of the scariest things I've seen.
With 20 years of service as a Detroit police officer, Corporal Martinez still finds each day rewarding.
I see it as it's an everyday thing. You know, we show up, we work, and it could be, you know, absolutely nothing going on that day, but we made a difference because we were there.
Good evening. I'm Dave Person with Fiat Chrysler Automotive. We are proud to support the Detroit Public Safety Foundation and this event. On behalf of FCA, I want to say thank you to all of the dedicated first responders in the city of Detroit. It is now my honor to introduce Police Officer Dorian Hardy, a Medal of Valor recipient. Police Officer Hardy, thank you for your bravery and your dedication to serving the citizens of Detroit.
Dorian Hardy joined the Detroit Police Department with a particular passion and drive for stopping senseless violence, especially among the youth.
Some of my family has some experiences in Detroit that I feel like if I was here, I could have changed it for somebody else. My brother was killed in Detroit as well, on the west side. So kind of have a strong tie to being back over here and stopping some of the violence. Right now, I'm on the ceasefire team in the 7th Precinct, and gives me the resources that I need to really reach out and stop these young people from getting into some stuff they shouldn't be getting into, or giving them opportunities to get out of what they're into as well.
While working an overtime shift with his partner and best friend, Officer Christopher Dodd, they came face to face with the violence they are trying to stop.
A run came out for somebody wanted for a homicide. It was very, very vague on the details, but it was in our area, and we decided to swing by there.
With little information, they walked into a small, privately owned lounge to investigate.
When we walked in, he immediately turned around and aimed a firearm at us. So that's when I took the actions that I did. It was rough. I mean, as it should be, it would be a little concerning if somebody was completely okay with it, but it was, it's a unfortunate circumstance. But I don't know. I'm still thinking to this day, how does someone win in that situation?
Officer Hardy and his partner continue to work together, dedicated to making the city safer and showing kids that they care.
Having a big brother there, ironically, like having mine, would have been nice. And I would like to extend that, you know what I mean? And I don't know, try to lead them on a path that they're already going down and keep them on it. That's more of it. Keep them on the path that they're on.
Good evening. My name is Hassan Fayyad, and I am the CEO of 401 Therapy. As a business owner in the city of Detroit, I am so thankful for our dedicated officer and first responder. It is my privilege to support them and I am so proud to be part of this event. It's now my great honor to introduce Police Officer Joshua Scott, a Medal of Valor recipient. From all of us at 411 Therapy, we thank you for your service and bravery.
Police Officer Joshua Scott was inspired to become a Detroit police officer to follow in the footsteps of his mentor and friend.
I definitely wanted to make a difference. I remember when I was in school, the Trayvon Martin case, and I just remember just sitting there wondering, like, what has this world come to? Like, why is it? I wanted answers more than anything. I wanted to know why these things are working the way they're working. And if they are working this way and I don't like it, well, how about you be the change you want to see?
Since joining the Detroit Police Department, he has tried to make a positive change by the way he treats people.
At the end of the day, I choose to make sure that they feel respected and they feel like the people that come to service them, they actually care.
While working with a special operations unit one day in February 2020, he saw a car driving dangerously fast down neighborhood streets and rolling through stops.
As I'm positioning my squad car to activate my lights and sirens, the passenger door opens up. And I just see, the suspect bailing out of the car. And bailing out means running away. And so as, second nature kicks in, we all give chase, and next thing you know, shots are ringing out. You talk about your life flashing before your eyes. There's no different feeling in this world than not only just seeing a gun pointed at you, because it's happened, but seeing that muzzle flash. And next thing you know is just the fight for your life. In that moment, I wasn't thinking about anything other than stopping what was going on.
With the suspect down but no longer a threat, the officers jumped into action to help save him.
We put tourniquets on him, and he was immediately transported to the hospital. I mean, I'm talking about a caravan flying like officers inside of that thing. Thank God that we all made it out alive, him as well, because my job is not to end lives out here. My job is to protect and serve. I felt like we did that well that day.
I'm Donnell White with TCF Bank, and it is my honor to introduce the next award recipient being honored tonight, Corporal Alvin Cherry. To Corporal Cherry and all of the officers from the 12th Precinct receiving the Medal of Valor with them, we appreciate your bravery in the face of danger. Thank you for your service.
With 24 years on the job as a Detroit police officer, Corporal Alvin Cherry is now able to pass along some of the things he's learned to his son, a young officer just starting his career as a Detroit police officer.
Just be careful, be aware of what he's doing, treat everybody the same, with respect, and you get respect back. We're here to actually help people. People don't always see that, but, I come to work every day to help people.
Although his desire is to help people, not all calls end peacefully.
We were going to a certain location. The location had a shooting earlier that week, which I think like 5 people had got shot on that same block. And we were there looking for one individual for a warrant. Another individual, which we wasn't even, focused on, but I saw him, in the back shadows. And when I approached him, he automatically took out a handgun. I didn't see the handgun at first. I didn't see it after he pointed it and shot. Somebody lost their life in this. You never want that. That's something that you never want. But circumstances just dealt it that way.
Dealing with a traumatic incident is not easy for any of the officers on the scene. Peer support and community support help Corporal Cherry and the other officers involved.
The DPD family that you have, if you're not in the situation, then you wouldn't know. But, if you are an officer, then you know what we deal with every day. The whole department usually comes together for you like that.
Corporal Cherry remains committed to his career and his community, and he continues to set an example for his son and those around him.
Well, I figured that, I was blessed, so I figured I'm here for a reason. So I should just keep on going instead of just, laying it down. So, that's what keeps me going every day. I was blessed.
Thank you. Good evening. Chuck Wilson here again, representing the Rock family of companies. We are so proud to support the Above and Beyond Awards and the good work of the Detroit Public Safety Foundation. We salute Detroit's dedicated first responders. Thank you for your commitment, dedication, and service. It is my honor to introduce Police Officer Eric Brown. Officer Brown is speaking on behalf of officers with the 12th Precinct who will be receiving the Purple Heart Award. Sergeant Rasheem McClain will be receiving this award posthumously, and Police Officer Philippe Batoun Bassay will also be receiving this award. I am so proud of these officers as I started my career in the 12th Precinct some 20 years ago. To all the officers involved in this dangerous, deadly, and challenging scene, we salute you. Thank you for all you do.
Police Officer Eric Brown comes from a family of police officers and knew he too wanted to make a difference in the city where he grew up.
I was that kid that watched some of the stuff that goes on in the city, and I always wanted to help the kids that would be in my position where I was growing up.
On November 20th, 2019, he heard a call come out over the radio and instantly knew something was wrong.
As I was running to the Scouts car, officers began to yell shots fired over the radio, and you could completely hear that something was wrong. And there was an officer that yelled, there's an officer down, there's an officer down. So quite naturally, a group of officers ran to the side door of the house. I ran and I got my Scout car, and we put Rasheem McClain in my Scout car, and I drove McClain to Sinai Grace Hospital. You want to get the job done, and you want to make sure that everything's done right, but it definitely hits a lot different when it's somebody you see, someone that is shot.
Despite the heroic response, Corporal Rasheem McClain died as a result of his gunshot wounds. McClain was a beloved 16-year veteran of the Detroit Police Department.
He was a great guy, I mean, when things like this happen, a lot of people say they're, you hear that he's a great guy, but Rasheem was definitely like a happy guy. I'd never seen him upset.
Officer Brown says he's been blessed by working with good officers, under good leaders, and alongside good partners. And those who worked with him on that night were among the best.
So I just hope to give back what has been given to me, the things I know now, the opportunities that I've been presented with were because of the influence that other officers that have had on me.
And again, a big congratulations going out to the Detroit Police Department awardees. We thank you for your service. So many of the stories that we have heard tonight involve many first responders who were at the scene. Now, we may not have heard from each one of you directly, but we thank you for your service as well, and we congratulate you for being an award recipient. Wow, what an incredible and impactful evening. I am so honored to be able to serve as the host for this incredible celebration, and a big congratulations again going out to all of our first responders, especially those who received awards here tonight. Thank you to our special guests, our sponsors, our partners, our Zoom audience watching at home for your gracious applause, and really to you for being a part of the 2020 Above and Beyond Virtual Awards ceremony. Stay safe, everyone, and good night.